There you go. One of the bands that can be inducted.
A nominee for the Hall of Fame this year.
Possibly be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, and Mark will get a couple of your other requests.
And it's also fitting for, we have Jim Haig coming in there from the Rescue Mission talking about the Gourmet Guys event coming up here.
Yeah, let's see who's going to be
cooking with some sugar.
Sugar-free.
Let's see who's
one
cooking.
Lump or two, Mark. You one lump or two?
Two.
I know.
How about Claudia? One lump or two?
For sugar?
You put sugar in your coffee.
Claudia is lumpless.
You're
lumpless.
I like sweetener of any kind. I use sugar. I use Truvia or whatever you call it.
Trivia.
And
Trivia
I like honey and brown sugar too, and that sugar in the raw. I like all those things.
That's right. I've noticed you like like my grandma used to search it through her purse for the sweeteners because I know you like those certain sweeteners there. So.
But you know what's so funny? When I used to live in Yugoslavia, and when I go back to like Bosnia and Croatia and places like that, I love to have espresso, and I don't put anything in it. I might put a little sweetener in it, but I don't even put milk in it. And so I don't know. It's just like it's funny, but when I'm here, I always like American style coffee. I always put milk in it.
Yeah, it's different. It's odd what you make at home.
I'm sorry to. This is bad news for the dairy farmers out there, but I realize now. I'm not going to get into the details, but I realize I have a dairy allergy.
Oh, you don't?
I do.
I don't think he does either. Claudia.
I do. I've done my own research. I will go and I will be tested to confirm it. But
you know what? There's a kind of milk that has. It's made from Guernsey cows that they say that has that protein.
Right.
That is not in every breed has you don't there's no lactose intolerance to it.
Right. So
have you tried that? I met one of the cows that produced that.
You met one of the cows?
Democrat or Republican, Claudia?
They of course they're Republican.
All right, Republican cow.
No, I met the cows. About the guy had the Guernsey cows that they claim are really there's a certain protein that's different in certain kinds of cows. It's not in every single one, but it's a gene that comes up, and they've tested it, and it shows that it's really good for people who are lactose intolerant. So without that gene, you wouldn't be allergic, and then you can still get all the great benefits, the health benefits of drinking milk.
So maybe I'll try one of those specially made cows.
But how do you know that?
Yeah.
When you get, they don't say this is Holstein milk or Guernsey or Jersey.
No. Well, I can I don't have it in front of me, but I have his business card, and I met with him at the Cortland County Fair, and then we've also met at a number of our dairy roundtables. They've been there, and his name's escaping me at the moment because I'm 57, and sometimes they don't
well,
right away.
We'll follow up with that after the show. But now here we are with a new Supreme Court Justice, Brett Kavanaugh. We went through that whole process, and now hopefully things will move in a more positive direction. But it looks like that if the Democrats get control of the House, that some of them might want to move toward the direction of trying to at least investigate Brett Kavanaugh, what he said under oath, if he lied, if he perjured himself at all, and potentially whether he should be impeached. Now, there's some Democrats that are saying, no, we don't need to rush that judgment, or, well, we'll see what happens after the elections. But, Claudia, from you in the House right now, do you believe there's a real agenda among the Democrats that are there now, or that any of those that get elected, that they would want to try to pursue any impeachment of Brett Kavanaugh, or do you feel that a lot of them realize that would be not a good move for the House to do?
I think a lot of them realize it's not a good move, but it all depends on if they take over the House and it appears that they are unfortunately manipulated by a lot of these forces that are pushing them in the direction of, for example, we voted on the floor twice on impeachment. They didn't have enough votes, but a lot of them didn't even have the courage to vote no. They voted present. We had a bill on the floor that would allow
impeachment for the president, just to be clear.
Of the president. Yeah. Just for example, this is the kind of thing you'd think that that's been on the floor twice. We had a bill on the floor that many of them voted to allow illegal immigrants, 69, I believe, was the final vote count, and then another 100 or so that voted present because they didn't have the courage to vote against illegal immigrants having the right to vote, undermining citizenship. Talk about interfering with our elections, letting non-citizens vote in our elections. I mean, they want to, that's their big cry, battle cry. But I think what the problem with the Democrats now is that Nancy Pelosi controls the purse strings. She controls a lot of the money, and there's 24 Democrats across the country that are making the claim, including Anthony Brindisi, that, oh, no, I'm not going to support Nancy Pelosi. I would bet probably a lot that that's what they would do. When Nancy Pelosi is funding these campaigns, I mean, Anthony's it's got to be millions coming through her super PAC. He puts out these, I don't take corporate money, but they're, Ray Halberter I call Halberter Inc., which is basically a corporation that's given close to $1 million. George Soros, all kinds of tax and money and corporations and unions, you name it, have given to the super PAC, benefiting from Citizens United, which they all dislike, but benefiting from Citizens United, hiding behind the super PAC and flowing millions of dollars and billions of dollars really across the country into these campaigns. So to me, I think it's a phony argument to make to the public. It's just deliberately deceitful to say, I'm not going to take corporate PAC money. You can go right on my FEC report, my Federal Election Commission report, and you can see that employees at companies around the country who contributed part of their income voluntarily if they wanted to be part of a political campaign, and I've received money from them directly. There's nothing hidden. It's out there in the public, and I frankly do not see that small, medium, and large, the corporations in America are the enemy. They're mostly owned by shareholders. The tax breaks that have been given to people mostly benefiting middle and income taxpayers. And I have to say, only 3 Democrats voted in the House of Representatives to make the middle income tax cuts permanent. And that says a lot about why they'll follow in the footsteps of their leadership, be it Nancy Pelosi, and only 3 had the courage to stand up and defend middle income taxpayers. And I just don't, they've not proven that they're not going to be followers. And Anthony Brindisi has not proven that he's going to stand up to anyone, whether it's Ray Halberter, Sheldon Silver, Andrew Cuomo. He's put on he's staged a couple of events to make it look like he's standing up to them. But when it comes to voting and when it comes to policy, he's lock, stock, and barrel with. Standing up to Governor Cuomo and saying you should do, a state address in Utica, New York, which has never been done, and it's just not something that, I think the governor should give a state address in the chamber, which is set forth in our Constitution, not run around and do his dog and pony show, which is all about him.
So, Claudia, in that case, if they are successful, it would take, and maybe that's why the conversation isn't moving forward or isn't as strong as it could possibly be, but they would need the majority of the House to even go forward with an impeachment.
Claudia, what is the percent? What is the number that you have to have for impeachment? Is it a majority or is it 2/3?
No, it's a simple majority.
Simple majority. So the House would vote to impeach, then it goes to the Senate. No, or is this the reverse?
For the trial. No, the House votes to impeach.
They impeach, and then the Senate has to convict, right?
But they do this. This impeachment thing is real. They talk about it over and over. And I'm just going to give you some of the scary things. I think we're going to lose seats in the House, but I think we'll also have a very good chance of keeping the House. It's going to be a narrower margin. But, this Kavanaugh hearings, and it's not Kavanaugh himself, it was the tenor and tone and the way the Democrats acted on the national stage that people finally got to see what's this really left-wing movement that's really hijacked the Democratic Party, how they act. And this is a lot of the behavior that I'm seeing in my district and other members of Congress are seeing across the nation, that it's just out of the mainstream. And yet my opponent and most of these Democrats, I haven't seen anyone denounce this stuff. I haven't seen anyone stand up to them. There is protest and there is, assembling and standing up for your rights, but then there's plain bullying, and that's what this is. People, you can respectfully disagree and you can protest, but the level of bullying is the thing that I think astounded Americans, slamming and pounding on the doors of the Supreme Court and screaming. I just think it's, there's a level of discourse.
Some people definitely believe, I think on both sides will believe that to some extent that behavior has gone too far. So we'll see how that all shakes out ultimately in the next 4 weeks. But one thing that Hillary Clinton said, she was interviewed recently on CNN, and she made a few remarks along the lines to suggest or lead people to conclude that she's saying the time for civility is over. And this is her quote with Christine Amanpour. She said, "You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy